Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? We're about to start this new episode. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Single Chronicles. Today we are discussing, is it okay to date your cousin's ex or your friend's ex or a close relative's ex? Why? I got inspired by the latest episode of Bel-Air. Yeah, there's some tension with Will, Carlton, and Lisa. It's like, oh, the drama. It's really real. So, anyway, if you are new here, make sure you heart, favorite this podcast wherever you're streaming it at so that you can be notified of future episodes. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment. Also hit the bell so you can be notified of future videos and stuff. Because you got to be in the know. The algorithm is not always friendly. Anyway, for everyone else, welcome to the Single Chronicles. Hey. Missing someone. Missing someone. Yeah, we're going to keep this rolling. I need lights. I just realized I don't really have that bright of a light in here. Yeah, so I need to edit that name, but it's okay. I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to put intro. What are we on? At 73? Dang. 73. That is crazy. Let me turn my ringer off on my phone because I've had so many issues with people calling me while I'm doing stuff. I could be in class. I could be here in the studio. People like hit me up. What you doing? Like I'm not always doing something. Anyway, let's go on to this episode. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys have been watching Bel-Air. It is the dramatization reboot of the infamous sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air starring Will Smith. Bunch of other people in the show that we love. It is a beloved show of mine. I love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Coming up is one of my favorite shows to watch on TV. It was a comedy. It was a sitcom. Now, Bel-Air, the show, with Jabari, I think that's his name, it plays Will Smith. This is a drama. This is not a comedy. Yes, it has funny things that are said and done. Yes, it has some similar and familiar aspects of the original show, but it is loosely based on it. It is not a remake per se because it is, I would say, reimagining. It's like basically they took the comedy out of the show and created this. And I like it. I mean, I've kind of been on this kick where I'm like, all right, I'm tired of these reboots, remakes, read this, read that, requel, this, that's, prequels, all types of stuff. I'm over it. But I like what they're doing with the show, and I really didn't have, I had an episode planned, already actually honestly recorded, but there were some issues with editing and I didn't like it. I was like, I'm scrapping it. I'm just going to the studio and do something because this really hit me. I got inspired by Bel-Air because I'm going to talk about how it tied into the Single Chronicles because obviously if you watch the original show back in the day with Will Smith and everybody else, you know that Lisa and Will end up together. Now, in the new show, Bel-Air, Will has feelings for Lisa, and you can tell she had, well, by the end of this episode, you can tell those feelings are very, very much mutual. The only difference is that Lisa and Carlton have history. They were together long before Will got there. And I wanted to talk about that because to some, people are like, yo, cousins, that's off limit, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, that's a good topic for the Single Chronicles because that shit happens all the time. Like, you can be minding your business, and next thing you know, you feeling somebody that is close to your ex, or they're feeling you. So, before I proceed, I just want to let you know there is going to be a spoiler alert. So, if you're not caught up to episode 6, and I believe it's called A Reason to Smile, it's a reason why, because the character Lisa, who is, I really love her chemistry on screen with Will, and even to some extent Carlton's character, I really dig it because she's going through some stuff. Like, she really is going through a lot of emotions, and with her mom dying, her dad remarrying, having a baby, the stepmom being a real piece of work, you know. I'm sorry, strength to smile, not reason to smile. But anyway, yeah, I really dig her character. She's not Nia Long, obviously, but I still dig her. Um, but I really wanted to get into reason why this ties in because I've been in that situation where like my ex's cousin, kind of made it obvious he felt some type of way, and I was like, okay, you know, not to say that there's nothing interesting about him or there's really no reason to pursue it. However, there are people to say, oh, well, that's not cool. Why would you date your cousin's ex? There's these like rules and these things that you got to abide by when you're dating. Don't date your friends, bros before hoes. Like, you can't date your friends' homies and this, that, and all your ex's homies and all such. So it's a lot of rules to that. But anyway, back to this. The episode, Lisa this is having actually not. Aunt Viv is throwing a silent auction / party in memory of, it's like a fundraiser for Lisa's mom, Gail. So, who passed away of lupus. What makes this episode kind of crazy is because her dad is a cop. We all know, if you've been watching, how Will feels about cops after his stint on the basketball court and he got arrested. Well, Uncle Phil kind of changed his tune. He was like, yeah, my best friend is a cop. I support the cops, to now we might defund the police. So he's taking a more liberal political stance, which, okay, fine, whatever. There should be a fine line in that. And I'm not really going to dive in that because this is not the place for that. Like me, I always think there should be, yes, there should be some, not, I wouldn't say defund the police, I would say put funding in other aspects of criminal justice and psychology and social services, because the social services in a lot of inner cities is abysmal. It fucking sucks. So, and in this country in general, but that's my belief. Anyway, back to this. So, Carlton and Lisa, they're dating, they're a thing. And, well, they used to date. Carlton already picks up on the fact that she's feeling Will and Will is feeling her. He basically tells Will, stay away from Lisa because we're going to get back together. Even though she doesn't want to go back to him. She's cool with being Carlton's friend. She supports him. She's there for him. But Carlton has issues. He has anxiety. And this is the thing I've touched on on this show before. You got to work on you. It's all about, you see this? Love yourself. I'm trying to. There we go. It's all about loving yourself. Love yourself, know yourself. Because before you do any of that, how the hell are you going to jump into a relationship with somebody? How the hell are you going to be with somebody if you all jacked up in the head? So, and I know they're young. If you think about it, they're high schoolers on the show. So it's a little hard for them to explain these adult emotions that they're having, obviously. But Carlton has some issues. And I think that's going to be the pivot. That's going to be the catalyst to kind of bring him and Will together, because there was a scene towards the end, and Carlton was like really, really struggling. He has this drug problem on top of it. Yes, Carlton has a drug problem, and he is having a moment. It's not even an emotional moment. It is he's breaking down. He's breaking apart, and there's a lot of pressure and a lot of stuff that Carlton isn't really bringing to the surface until that very moment. And I know this is not the topic we're talking about, but he has this pressure to be the perfect son, the perfect student, the perfect athlete, the perfect everything. There's a facade that he has to live up to, and that's a lot of pressure for someone who's not even 18 years old yet. So when you think about all of that, and then just being a black person in a predominantly white area, okay, like, just that shit is just hard. And I think he has had a lot to deal with, and he hasn't figured out how to deal with that outside of Xanax, Adderall, whatever the hell he was taking. And yeah, there's that. So I think that will push them together, because they've been kind of clashing since the minute Will got there. Because, Carlton is very highly intellectual on this show. He really, really knows, all right, my cousin just coming from Philly for no reason. Like, he knew that the reason why Will came from Philly was more than what his dad was telling Uncle Phil. They were just saying, hey, you're coming out here for a better education, not knowing that the whole scene on the basketball court happened. So it's kind of crazy to see that unfolding. Anyway, back to this. Carlton and Lisa have history. They break up. And it's very easy to see that Carlton probably was the reason for this breakup. He had shit going on with him. And, him and Lisa broke up. All right, that's fine and dandy. My thing is that with that being said, now Will comes into place. Lisa's feeling him, he's feeling her. And out of respect for Carlton, you can see that they didn't kind of go anywhere with it. Then on top of the fact, like, Carlton had these jealousy, rage moments. Will had a moment he was jealous. They were all jealous of a girl that did not even belong to either one of them. She wasn't even their girl. But regardless, I digress. The point is that Carlton had this alpha male moment. Stay away from Lisa or else, and Will was like, whatever. All right, cool. And he did that because it really wasn't about him at that point. Will kind of, and his growth, Jabari, I think his name is, he's showing like such a growth in such a short amount of time of being here in Bel-Air. It's astonishing. And I'm not really trying to make this a commentary about the show. Watch the show. You don't need me to tell you about it. I'm just kind of trying to paint a picture for these young adults here. But yeah, back to this. Like, neither one of them are with this girl, and they're like tripping over her like she's theirs, like she's their property, which is something that happens a lot. Like, stay away from my girl, like we get really possessive over our, partners. But whatever. The thing here, Carlton, he tries to be the best friend to Lisa at that point. When he finds out that what Will's reasons for being in Bel-Air truly are, he feels some type of way, naturally so, because what he's been originally told was a lie. So he's like, stay away from Lisa, stay away from me, yada, 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 we be cool, I'll keep your secret, I ain't no snitch, but stay away, because I'm going to get my girl back, and you being here, whatever, is a problem. Plus, you might be going back to Philly anyway, so get out of here. So that is understandable, if I'm perceiving that right. The only problem is that even though Lisa respects his honesty and him trying to be a good friend, she kind of peeped the fact that, it's not that type of thing, we're just friends. That shit fucking sells. So whatever feelings she has for Carlton are just totally platonic. Bro, you in the friend zone. Sorry. And it's hard for him to grasp that, but eventually I think he gets that. So in this case, for her and Will to be a thing, I don't think it's like completely bad. I don't think it's no violation of any unwritten code, which I'll get to in a bit, because she's moved the fuck on. It's not like Will is like a really close cousin of Carlton. It's not like they grew up together or they know. It'd be no different if he was just some random guy that just came from Philly. So in this case, it's like, all right, I don't owe you anything, there's no loyalties being broken because we're never was close to begin with. Yeah, we know each other, obviously, because we fucking cousins, but we don't know each other. So there's that. Now, what about the case of, like in the case now, Lisa knows that they're cousins, and yeah, she's made it very evidently clear she don't want to be in their drama and stuff, but she's still she's at some kind of fault because in this particular case, that they're related, they're cousins, and that your ex has feelings for you. Although, devil's advocate, and this is a really divisive topic for me, because he's the one that fucked up the relationship in the first place. He's the reason why y'all ain't together. So why should I feel sorry because you fucked up and then you want to get me back? Doesn't work that way. So, yeah, you can't have everything you want. And sometimes you got to learn for the fact, yeah, I messed up. Yeah, we can forgive people, but in 2022, that struggle love and all that, yeah, get your shit together. Get your stones and your house in order before you go worrying about me. So that's that. Now, back to the Single Chronicles and how that relates. And like I said, my episode today was inspired by that. Because would you date somebody that you were, that was close? Now, in my particular situation, my last ex, I know for a fact that his cousin kind of like looks at me, has to feel some type of way. He's made that clear. Now, my ex honestly does not give a shit if we were to get together. He really, really wouldn't. I ain't gonna lie. In fact, it probably has his blessings because his honest response was like, "Hey," but then again, he's not one to say nothing because he was never fucking faithful anyway. Like, really, bro? That's what you gonna say? So it's not really. In my case, it's not like this. There's no drama attached to it because he's like, whatever, I don't care. Like, yo, as long as you look, if you like it, I love it. Literally, is what that's his whole thing. So there's no spite. Now, people would look at me and say, are you doing it out of spite? No, because I know that's not going to bother him. And two, why would I get revenge? I'm over that person. So in my case, it doesn't apply here. In this case, I'll be like, all right, I moved on. My ex moved on. My cousin doesn't feel some type of way. Even he used to say, like, bro, you dumb as shit. I would never let her go. But, whatever. He wasn't trying to be tied down. And eventually I respected that and I moved the fuck on my damn self. Again, but in my case, like I said, it's really not that deep. We're all fucking adults. Now, as far as dating goes, and let's just say it's a normal situation. Let's say it's not even like a cousin. It could be like, people need to be a little more open-minded than they actually are. Like I said, we have this unwritten rule and code. You can't date, like, if me and you break up, you can't go after my girlfriends. You can't go after my homies. You can't go after my relatives. Well, who the fuck? Like, like, really? Like, if we can be honest with ourselves when we're dating from the giddy up, first of all, if we realize that we're not compatible and we move the fuck on and respect the fact that, it just ain't gonna work. We're not meant to be. Things will be a lot better. That's first and foremost. Secondly, if you're not shady with your intentions, like, all right, we was hanging, we sitting up here talking, yada, yada, yada. Like, my ex's cousin, my mom does his taxes and shit like that. So periodically he comes through and I'm there, or I might be there, or whatever. Or he might say, hey, Rose, I need, something in relation. And he might say, hey, I need a wellness beverage or whatever. I don't know. The point is that I may interact with him. Like, it's okay. Whatever. It's no biggie. It's something that's not putting us in a situation where things could be weird. Because lo and behold, to be honest, like, when I was in a relationship with his cousin, there was no him flirting with me, whatever. Like, we went on double dates with him and his girl, yada, yada, yada. And that was that. And he's a good dude. Like, it is what it is. But again, I would not, me personally, I still feel some type of way pursuing it. Even if he was to come and say, hey, Rose, I really feel you. I think we should try to see how weird things go. I don't honestly know, because in my mind, I'm still stuck in the societal thinking that there's that code, that unwritten code. They're off limits. Don't touch them. You can't be with them. So fucking retarded, right? So there's that. Another thing, I look at it as, think about it. Can you see that it could be a serious relationship? Is there that chemistry and compatibility? Like, just because that person is some way related or attached to your ex, why is it the fact that you and your ex not working out is related to that? Like, why does that have to do with anything? You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm for or against it, but again, if adults were upfront, like, and say, hey, this isn't working out, and they split at that moment where they're still cordial and friendly enough with one another that they can move on, regardless if they have kids or any mutual assets, then there's not going to be a bitter breakup. Then you can move on, they can move on, and you're like, okay, well, it didn't work out with me. They're not going to stay single forever. Yeah, I probably would prefer not to be constantly reminded of that person by seeing them at gatherings and shit like that. But at the end of the day, it's like, yo, oh well. Like, I wouldn't care if my ex dated any of my other relatives. Now, I would care because I know my ex ain't really boyfriend material. But if he was, like, say if he was a really good guy, and I'm not saying he ain't a good guy. Let's just say he was boyfriend material in addition to being a okay, decent, nice person. All right, he's a nice person, I guess. Trying to find something nice to say about my ex sometimes could be hard. I wouldn't, like, if he was not promiscuous, not unfaithful, and all those other wrong things, and he was an actually good dude, but deep down in my heart of hearts, I knew that me and him wasn't working out, and we weren't meant to be, and we just weren't compatible, and he started talking, like, him and my cousin started talking. If I knew for a fact, it's not like Lisa's dad and this white chick where they found out that he was messing around just before Lisa's mom died. So in that case, it's okay. Like, it's all right. Like, yeah, you know what? If it works out between them, so be it. It is what it is, and it ain't that fucking deep. I'm not gonna sit up here and cry because my ex and my cousin or my sister or my friend found love where I couldn't. It is what it is. But that's if you see, the thing about it is that's only because I moved on and they moved on. But what about the situation where it's in Carlton's case where he hasn't moved on, but yet you see your girl moving in with your cousin? See, the thing about it, and people don't want to admit this, has shit to do with the fact that it's your cousin, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your friend, whatever. It's the fact that you haven't moved on. Lisa, in this case, and I'm just going to say and use these names for an example. Lisa can move on to any fucking body in Bel-Air. She can move on with anybody in California. And it's always going to be a problem for Carlton, a person like Carlton, because they haven't moved on. So the idea of their ex moving on and they're trying to make things work and bring them back is tough for them. It's impossible for them. And let's get a little deeper with that. Think about the fact that he hasn't come to grips with the reason why the relationship fucked up in the first place. He hasn't taken any accountability for what he did, for the role he played. So instead of going back and being accountable for that and saying, you know what, I fucked up, let me at least work on those things that fucked up the relationship, that's fucked up on me. Instead of projecting that onto you, Lisa, and saying, hey, you know what? You are going to want me back because I am on the rise. I'm this, I'm that. We do that so much. We never, like I said, my ex was not fucking perfect. And would I recommend him to date anybody? Fuck no. But that doesn't mean that I didn't play a role in the things that were toxic in our relationship. Yeah, I would consider myself a good partner. And I've said this before. But that relationship, is toxic and terrible as it was, as heartbreaking and heart-wrenching as it was, it led me down a path to learn where I needed to work on me, where I needed to love me. And a lot of people don't know how to come to grips with that. They don't know how to, because they want to focus on the pain. They want to focus on the toxicity. They want to focus on what the other person did wrong, but they don't ever want to sit and put that mirror up and say, yo, I did this, or I could have did this better. You know what I mean? We never want to fucking do that. And that's the problem with people seeing their others dating off. There's no fucking unwritten code. There's no unwritten rule. There's no, oh, you can't touch such and such, such and such. That's my ex. That's my this. It's over with. If the relationship is over with and we not together, what difference does it make? You know what I mean? We're going to move on anyway. We're not going to be together. Just like I talked about last week about the better baby mama. Guaranteed baby mama hasn't moved on. Doesn't mean if she starts dating again and starts seeing someone again, she hasn't moved on. Because if she could take the time to trash the ex and be bad mouthing him to whoever, then, she hasn't healed. And that's the bottom line here. If Carlton, and I'm just using him as a reference and a pivotal point in this case, until he heals what's truly wrong with him, doesn't matter who the fuck Lisa be with. He's just going to use the fact that it's Will to be mad, even more mad about it. But I think eventually, if the show is going to go kind of sort of in a direction where the original show went, with them two being together and Carlton just doing his own thing, then I don't think it's going to really bother him. Because at the end of the day, if he loves Lisa the way he say he loves her, then he would want to see her happy with anybody, even if it's not him, even if it is his cousin. So that's how I feel on it. I guess I'm leaning to the fact, yeah, it's okay. Like, I have cousins that moved on, and I'm sorry, I got exes that moved on with people that I was kind of cool with and people that I wasn't cool with. And eventually I had to get over that hurt. Like, we we get so hung up on the fact that a person doesn't want us. We never sit up there and think about why. And even if we didn't do anything to push that person away per se, we got to let it go. We got to say, all right, well, you know what? Not everybody is made for everyone. I'm not for everyone. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people aren't. So that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, I'm sorry if you guys aren't caught up on Bel-Air, or if you aren't interested, or whatever. But it just led me down that path. By the way, the show is great. Go stream it on Peacock if you haven't. Go show some love. Will Smith definitely hit the ball out of the park with this one. I like it. There's some things that I'm about, but for the most part, I love it. Not to get too off topic, but people pissed off about the whole Ashley and her having feelings for the girl thing. So the fuck what? First of all, I know this don't got nothing to do with this topic, and I might piss somebody off. And I was telling a friend this, I've told several people this, if you are not represented by any letters in the LGBTQ, IA, P, whatever, plus community, then stop being triggered by things that pertain to them.
Like, back up! Back up! Mind your business, that's all. Mind your business.
Okay. Back up! Back up! Mind your business, that's all. Just mind your business.
That's all I gotta say on that. Now, back to this. One last thing. I'm sorry, because I got my notes here too. Again, not every case is going to be like Carlton, Will, and Lisa's situation with the cousin and yada, yada, yada. However, let me fix my camera here. However, there are going to be situations where folks, your friends, and I've had a girlfriend come to me and say, yo, my dude, he's talking to he might be talking to someone closer. I think girlfriend, it wasn't a cousin, but girlfriend. Now, girlfriends can be like sisters, like cousins. Yeah, we don't have a blood relation, but like in this case, closer than Will, because like I said, they're cousins, they're related, but they're not really close. So let's just say it's two people that are very, very close. You know what I mean? With that being said, if Carlton and Will were really, really tight, like in the instance, my girlfriend, she felt some type of way that her ex and her girlfriend started dating. Well, are you mad that it's your girlfriend dating your ex, or are you mad that he just moved on? Or is it a combination of both? I always say that it's the fact that they moved on, and see the fact now you get to see them together all lovey-dovey where you and him couldn't be, and it makes you mad because you haven't moved on. So, like I said, people just use that to project that emotion that, oh, it's my friend, you shouldn't, they're off limits. Like, as long as they wasn't fucking dating when you were together, or they not doing that shit out of fucking spite, who the fuck cares? Like, why is it relative? You know what I mean? Like, again, it's society needs to be more open-minded than that. We got to be worried about we worry about the wrong shit. So much more to be worried about in terms of relationships, you know. But this is what we be concerned about. This is the story. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep today's episode rather brief. Briefer than last week. Last week went pretty long. And I'm gonna move on from this. Because I need to wrap up and get up out of here. Again, hope you guys are checking out the show. Thank you. I want to thank you guys, first and foremost, for coming back to the Single Chronicles, for all my new subscribers, for subscribers that for people that just checked out a video, for people listening on the streaming networks. It's so great to see this grow. I fell out of the algorithm on YouTube, and that's fine. I don't even really care about that anymore. Now I'm just happy to put how I feel out there, my thoughts, you know, sometimes your thoughts, because you bring in the confessions. We didn't really have a confession this week, so to do this topic, when I watched the episode yesterday, I was like, yo, damn, I really feel like I need to talk about this. So I just want to thank you guys for like really, really rocking with me, no matter if it's my classes, my wellness juices, the Single Chronicles, whatever, because I do a lot. And when I see people rocking with me, it really, really, I be feeling it. Like, it makes me feel great, because I notice, like, I swear sometimes there's somebody at Instagram who fucking hates me, and they be like, oh, we don't want nobody to see your shit. But, you know, regardless, it says you guys are really fucking dope, and I really appreciate y'all for, you know, sticking in there, listening to me, bringing me feedback. Speaking of feedback, how do you feel about this whole cousin dating thing? Not even how you feel about the show too. You know, let me know down below in the comment section. Where else you want to leave them? Now, if you're listening on Spotify, you can leave me a message. But I think Apple Podcasts you can too. I'm not sure, but I don't have Apple, so I don't have a way to check that. However, just hit me up on the DM, comment on YouTube, comment on a post or something, whatever. Reach out to me. Let me know what you think about not just the show, but just this particular topic or any topic I talk about on the Single Chronicles, because it's definitely one to be had. Things in society are changing. We were becoming a more open-minded, more liberal and thinking society, whereas things are not that fucking deep like they used to be. Like, if you're not married and have kids by a certain age, okay, you're not being judged on that. If you don't like the opposite sex, yeah, you're not being judged on that. So to say you dating your friends, your ex's friend or cousin or brother or sister or whatever, it's not that fucking deep. Especially if you moved on and you're like, all right, more power to them. Simple as that. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. We're gonna go tune on over to the accountability corner, because we don't have a sponsor this week. I don't think I have a promo. Actually, I do have one. So stay tuned for that. We are going to get to the promo and then the accountability corner. Keep this thing rolling. So, today's episode has been brought to you by Love Yourself Wellness. Okay, my company. I'm plugging myself again. Be sure to go head on over to that website and check out some juices. Look, this is the logo. Now, if you guys have been rocking with me from the beginning of the Single Chronicles, you know that this is my saying. Be awesome, be you, but above all else, love yourself. Well, in the beginning, loving yourself was coming from an aspect of relationships and whatnot, and single emotions and traumas and all that. And then it kind of took a turn towards physically loving yourself. And that's not just dolling yourself up and wearing nice clothes and looking nice and smelling good. It's about what you're putting on the inside of the body, not just the outside, but the inside. Yeah, you gotta love yourself to eat good shit. You gotta eat good shit to love yourself. So that's what the Love Yourself Wellness is all about. That's what that stems from. So I want you guys to go check that site out. I have something for everyone. You're going through menopause, got a tea for that. That's coming. You are sick, got a tea for that. Depressed, anxiety, stress, got a tea for that. Having some problems getting aroused, emotions and libido, got a drink for that. Inflammation, got a drink for that. You want to detox, you constipated, I have a drink for probably a lot of the most common problems, and they're all natural, herbal. The majority of them are vegan, no GMOs, gluten-free, all that good stuff. So yeah, definitely you might go and check that out. Go get you something. Use promo code SHIP for free. I ship in the whole entire continental United States. And if you are in Philly, guess what? You get free shipping if you pay for over $20. But if you use promo code SHIP for free, you're going to get it free anyway. So yeah, do that. Ship, SHIP, the number 4, free. Another thing I want to talk about, yes, 2 promos. I'm plugging myself today. If you haven't had the chance, come to one of my classes. I teach Zumba and I teach twerk out. I teach them back to back on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I teach Zumba virtually on Fridays and Saturday mornings. Pretty soon we're going to have booty camp coming back. So if you ladies are looking to tighten tone the glutes, the core, all of that, come get with me, because yeah, that's coming. And next month we're going to be doing like a 30-day challenge. Actually, I'm sorry, not next month. It will be in June. We got a 30-day challenge because I believe in April's Passover, so I can't do any challenges. I'm going to be weak from not eating my carbs, and I'm vegan too. Yeah, so there's that. But those are your promo sponsors for the week. Come to class. I'm at Exhibit A Studio on Thursdays, every Thursday at 7. I'm at the King Center in North Philly every Wednesday. So yeah, definitely come check me out. You know, I get a lot of guys saying, can guys come to your class? Yep. But you got to participate. So don't come think you're going to look at ladies shaking their booties. No, you got to participate. Yeah, there's that. All right, guys, I'm going to get off of here. But before I do, stay tuned for just a little bit longer. You lend me your ears for the Accountability Corner, a.k.a. Writer's Reflections. Yeah, and that is that. So let's keep this ball up rolling. Okay, today we talked about, is it okay to date your ex's cousin? Or your cousin's ex, depending on who you are in this triangle of love. I think in this case, no matter if that title is cousin, friend, brother, sister, mother, I did even see one instance where there is and I'll talk about this, I got a question and it was hard to answer because as a parent, I didn't know where I would fit. And it was someone asked, how can I get my daughter to forgive me for sleeping with her boyfriend or girlfriend or something, like whatever that was? But I was like, ooh. We talked about that kind of sort of before a couple episodes back, so I don't really know how to answer that without being a little biased. So I'm going to definitely tackle that, but till then, we're going to focus on this right here. Now, we used Bel-Air it was the inspiration behind this, but this episode kind of struck me because I had my ex's cousin, felt some kind of way about me, and it wasn't like he was rude or mean or extra about it. He approached it in a way that was kind of, and like I said, I was like, I don't know, because I dated your cousin for like 3 years. That would be kind of weird to me. Not saying it has anything to do with you, not even saying it would bother him, because I don't really care how he felt, but he honestly didn't care either, because he's moved on and I moved on. That being said, doesn't mean that at some point down the road, and honestly, it had more to do with me than either of them, because I know right now I'm just not in a place to focus on a relationship with anybody. But giving the thought, I would actually think now, like, it really is no big deal. Like, why is society, in our culture, why have we deemed it this thing? Instead of, why is that more important instead of working on why the relationship didn't work out in the first place? Why don't we focus more on that as opposed to focusing on the fact that it's close to the person I used to be with? It's just society has learned to be less accountable for their actions. I can sit up here and be the perfect girlfriend or wife or spouse or whatever to someone, and they still leave me. They can still decide one day that they don't want to be with me. Now, I can be embittered about that. I can be hurt. Or I can learn to move on and find someone who will love me. Or I can learn to love myself and discover out why it went wrong on my part. Sometimes it's not always about, and being accountable isn't always about it being your fault. It's about realizing this just isn't working. We're not compatible, and we moved on. Last season we talked about this with, I think, Wallow and his girlfriend splitting. Wallow is a social media personality. He's from Philly, and him and his girl have been vibing for a long time. Beautiful couple, and his path was taking one direction and hers was going in another, and they could walk away respectfully. So let's just say now him and Gilly, who's a rapper from the group Major Figures, was like, I know, and see, I know these people personally. So when I think about it, like, let's just say his girl, say if Gilly was single and Wallow's girlfriend started dating Gilly. In this case, let's say if it wasn't a Will Carlton situation and it was two people that was actually close to one another, would Wallow's, would his ex be wrong in this case? Would Gilly be wrong? A lot of times we don't really think about it, but in this sense, no, it wouldn't be wrong even if they were close. Why? Because guess what? First of all, it's none of our business. No one on the outside of that circle, none of their business. Number two, if all parties are okay, they're not embittered, and I'm not saying jump the bones like as soon as you're single, but once you've cleared the air and you've gotten yourself together and you're ready to jump in that dating pool, you've all moved on, okay, oh well, let's be happy. Maybe there's something that this person can provide me and I can provide them that me and you couldn't do for one another. So I think we need to stop getting hung up on the titles and our loyalties, because at the end of the day, that's not what the 100%, that's not what the focus needs to always be on. We get focused more so on our loyalties to other people than our own internal issues that we got going on inside. So here we are. I hope I really tackled this topic today, because I know that I'm going to come back to it again. And I know that it's going to be something I discuss in the future. But I wanted to it was on my mind, so I felt in my spirit to really discuss it. And it's something I didn't mention before. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with going to get your blessings. Like, I know my ex and his cousin had that discussion, and I know for a fact that my ex told him, go ahead. I know he gave him the okay because he's fine and dandy. He ain't worrying about me. So, in that case, if y'all done had that discussion, like if you're feeling your cousin's ex, or they're feeling you, or however the situation might go, and you go to your cousin or your friend or whoever and say, hey, bro, like, I know things ain't work out with y'all, but I'm really feeling, bro, she seemed like, I've been around her, she seemed like a real good catch. Like, is it okay if and if the ex is like, sure, just treat her right. I know I fucked up, but, or she crazy. No, bro, I'm trying to save you. Don't go through what I did. No, I'm just joking. Whatever the case might be, it's okay to move on and be happy and not get hung up on those loyalties of the titles and stuff. Life is too short for that. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Single Chronicles. I appreciate you. I appreciate your patronage. I appreciate you for listening and sharing these videos and podcast episodes and all that good stuff. So thank you. And again, thank you. I'm going to cap off this episode. I'm going to end it right here and say what I always say, and that is be awesome, be you, but above all else, love yourself. Because if you can't love you, how do you expect anybody else to? All right, guys, take care. I am off this thingamajig. Here's the little remote. I'm going to hit off.